We are looking at Hawkins' inquiry into the nature and principles of Thoroughbass on a new plan published in 1817 in London, and we're looking at the chromatic scale and why it's called that. This was an appellation among the ancients for one of the three scales by which they regulated music. The three were the diatonic, so called, because it principally proceeds by whole tones, or from whole tone to whole tone. The enharmonic, so called, as being the most musical, proceeding by a semitone and ditone, or a combination of two whole tones, and the chromatic, proceeding by one semitone, and then three together afterwards, and so on. Some have thought this term derived from the verb chra'au, as it certainly is, which they have, however, most absurdly supposed to signify coloro, to colour or tinge, a sense given to it on some other occasions, but in this etymology, as applied to the chromatic scale, there does not seem the smallest connection or reason. That it is derived from the Greek chra'au cannot be disputed, but it is for a better reason than those persons were able to suggest. Besides the sense which they have assigned to it, chra'au means also seko, I cut or divide, and from seko comes our word section, which means a subdivision of a chapter or book. From Chambers' description in Chambers' dictionary, it is evident that while the diatonic proceeds by the semitone and whole tones, and the enharmonic by the semitone and ditones, or combinations of two whole tones, the chromatic proceeds only by semitones, and consequently by smaller intervals or subdivisions than the others, to which circumstance its name chromatic, as derived from the verb chra'au in the sense of subdividing, most certainly was intended to refer. Besides, the musical note, a quaver, which had its name from the French participle quer, a term well known in heraldry to signify, when applied to a beast, tailed, because its peculiarity and difference from the crotchet consisted in the addition of a tail. In Italian, is called chroma. No doubt, on the principle of subdivision above mentioned, in other words, the Greek chroma. The semiquaver, in like manner, is in Italian called or termed semichroma, and the demiquaver in the same language is styled bischroma. In consequence of the enharmonic and chromatic scales having been found too intricate and perplexed, and the diatonic sufficiently suited to all the rational purposes of music, the two former have been wholly laid aside, and the latter only retained in the modern system of music. The term chromatic is now therefore only used to signify music consisting of harsh passages, arising from the use of discordant notes, which are semitones to each other, and too near to fall into the distances of harmonical proportions.